Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
And then on the chopping board, the cocoa board saga. Cocoa board saga is saga about I am very much interested because I know details of about a lot of stuff happen cocoa board. So Obakaya, a buying society, one of the major points and I may hit it, I say, there was the need to do agent forensic audit. Forensic crowd there, I call it criminal inquiry because it was quite obvious. And nema na ya yen wo cocoa sector no na air time to the stand say oti ebia na obofono. But anam say that audit ran kosuntina and yaba bedru in the middle of a crisis. No? People who should have been prosecuted today have turned around, going from village to village, trying to incite farmers say, aban no ya aban boni, and a washab than a wabana or ye cocoa for sa. That is the impression they are creating. When indeed, the 90% of this mess created, the mess these people deliberately in the last 8 years, and leave cocoa board in a mess. And I'll walk you through. And near me see ya and cocoa board a situation a woman over the years. But said the financing model has always been syndicated loan. Ya Kokwaje, and going for that loan, no cocoa board in the books should be nice because 2016 Abra NDC a fra buying so no na cocoa board. I won't say that everything was perfect, but now they had a positive equity. That was what was handed over. Now cocoa for the record high na eka krebi and kaya 1 million tons of cocoa in a single season. I have one of the biggest achievement that cocoa board that me achieve in terms of production capacity. I just said now we were really taking it to a different level. Not Ghana was in the pole position. Yene Cote d'Ivoire, as who is the best producer, you know, we've always been way banner, way yaba. So that time, you know, now we were close to 1 million. A child said now cocoa board was on track. And the more production the cost the more the chances books no never be quite high. So even though I have never liked this syndicated loan approach, that financing model, no, but now to me offer that kind of financial relief because now it was very difficult. Say a buyer bet me time the seeker or the finance the cocoa sector. And what they relied on at the time, they say yaje loan na then na ya de ababa to cocoa no ya the cocoa farmer de mano ya de baby ekwaji loan interest can ho na ya tia. That has always been. But it got to a point in time even going to borrow crano we were denied because the cocoa board books became so terrible to the extent say nobody na ya welling say or the sikabema cocoa board in the name of syndicated loan. So quickly the government came and announced to the whole world, say, free Neko Ghana for young cocoa syndicated loan. Be creating an impression, said they've or what me another source of funding. I quite secured. I was short long-term prospects. I bet me Aboagye. Ya winning from the cocoa syndicated loan model, no, which has for some time now became the financing your friends say regime and our model no shifted to something quite substantive, not knowing that the decision was preempted by a certain reckless mismanagement that occasioned our cocoa board. And this is our the Auditor General's report 2022-2023. Now we had the amount of money say ya cocoa evaluation monitoring amount for more modern kurase. Say monitoring the amount of money captured in that particular report. No, what's here now? Obuamfu na minim Ghana ni aweye. At the time, anasa near we nyina ekoso no. At those early stage na cocoa na yantombo na babi agira na ejina. Enti sa eka we nyina burugu so. Ena metwewa do bedu the latter end of this administration. Of the recent administration, I yes, I Jude sack now. You had the baggy cocoa and as a form no. a business and I'm for the air running for in the name of procurement, you make sika. And yet to me echo order jute sack. We don't need it. Not yet the contract number nipa na yetiaka. Na yakoba ya ba na ya report yam kunkuyi. Na ya see another person contract. Na ono so akwa fa ba na yetia na kan wakofa jute because the cocoa no na yentimi produce what we are required to produce because don't forget my culture say previous last 2 years no cocoa yakwaje syndicated loan say ye ba beto na ye make projections say ye be ma omo 800,000 metric tons of cocoa no yentimi produce at the end of the day na ye de ka close to 400 million tons of cocoa as a cocoa na omo ntimi ntuaka no don't forget to say we are forwarded to the next season. So next season now kwakoto cocoa no current price na aba na world market no enye no na odebekwa kutua sa aka na mom previous year because previous years na so supply na want to be on supply and to the supplier he doesn't care. All that he's looking for say last year and as I wouldn't the cocoa man no enti ba na whatever this year no last year price and obetua amount 400,000 it was 390 something thousand, almost 400,000 metric tons of cocoa. Eka na yakwaje hu sika ba shinadi na yentimi produce that particular cocoa. And again, cocoa board no so we have cocoa board na ya find say nipa ya form wo adwuma. Say am na say cocoa board is overstaffed, almost 100,000 workers. And a good cocoa board across board. We sorry so called downsizes. Yes, hey, who created unemployment, but deliberately when they were about leaving, a one almost swear the pagum yo. So cocoa board needs what they are cutting. Obakaya quite recently, a cocoa marketing processing board there, and a year has of better processing cocoa. It got to a time that there was this gentleman who was a whistleblower. Our backan dirty dealings and their cost of our cocoa, our sir, your fans saying company no, am I a pamono? I even did a video on that particular thing. Every year, na court to say, young ton company no near money, ye dear Bessia wanting and a year ocean because of the crisis and how these people mismanage your fancy cocoa board. Now, chrono dear young cat fertilizer John Mahama Togu hot 2016, and our chairman farmers, no, and then I bet it's aqua joke and not finance or the agri community back at say, oh, she had been able to go from Mupon White, you know, they call your fancy saying. Burkina Faso. A car, sir, is your friend saying, Sadia and the bar cocoa board. It's around almost 32 million. And also a quack than the baby. And a year burekano gusu, and the cocoa board no, I'm a cadine and they see her because mismanagement. And we didn't even focus on increasing output. No. Because my culture said 2016, we nearly hit 1 million metric tons. Yet, quite nimna yesan yechi. Kwana yesan yechi to the extent say, cocoa as you produce, na ya de honka yentibem produce. And a cocoa board na ba ye kadang e de si ho. And a contractor hold sa jute sack we na no ada ombekwe over millions of win over tama kwabran and ye tua honka nyina and omo order jute sack already a bisum pot you kromunya nkonko hiye and cocoa na afe yenya de ye betimi a produce the projection ye yentimi produce no a home bag no ya to in excess of about 10 years ahead. Enti abine se san wa beba bia no omo bind you cannot sa na mani omo to agu hoda na je omo sika ko when we did not even need it at the time. Cocoa board had pressing needs. Today these are the same jokers who have turned around, moving from village to village, trying to incite farmers say adibia koso. But I'm coming to explain. Me, I am very worried about the current development there koso cocoa board. Man can't show meboa. And this issues has nothing to do with politics. Where the issues we need to situate it. Sabe nipa benya proper understanding. Ansana John Mahama beba. He made a promise to the people of this country. Say, "Sa wo hwe kwanya akuafo fa so omobre. No wo hwe the price echo our world market. Now we have price ban di tua cocoa for kawa ha e yasisire. Na samna na all kind of time no na it was true. Because don't forget that 2023 and 2024 ever we no cocoa price at the world market at some point across all 10,000 a binum cran ton $13,000 per ton. At the time na dollar 15 cedis. Asamna mekaniti at the time na Omoka say Akufo-Addo Aban could have paid cocoa farmers 70 million and 60 million because at the time now world market in cocoa now could do $10,000, $13,000. Now dollar rate 15 cedis. So what the time say I can't turn is about 16 bags of cocoa. At the time now cocoa price ejina 2,500 thereabout and an ejina. And which means that the core at the time was very legitimate because a pricing model, no, and I had to share they determine that particular price. These people today in the village seeking to speak for farmers, took advantage of the situation. The FOB price at the time, $10,000, even your friends have 45% of the farmer na. Then John Mahama said, no, I'll make sure I'll pay them 70% of the FOB price. FOB price in the same. Se cocoa, yes, good ship was not the price. The world market at the time, that is what, and I would determine price our cotton. So at the time, no, it was not a swat $5,000. No, not $7,000 at the time. $7,000, John Mahama said, Obetuya farmers, 70%. So, true to his promise, he paid them 70% of that particular FOB price. But the tier price, Lentian cost around could do 6,000 and say, na dollar, no, a swatia bafom. Because at the time, I said, na dollar near 15 cedis, 15.5. And because cocoa near cotton, cedis, you're turning in dollars. And he said, Nipana promise who said, 70% of the FOB price, and he paid because it was $5,000 at the time. But I said, dollar na swatintino. So what the back Ghana cedis in now? Over benya 50,000. 50,000 who divided by way, over benya around 3,000 in na you to your farmers, So Obi Abakacha said Abani make a promise to your cocoa farmers can obey one to you because you need to use the FOB price and the dollar equivalent to do the analysis for you to get a clear picture. So that was the price that the Mahama government set. And to say nya de senka dollar no so ba from and anka dollar ni gina 15 and kopiani will be getting somewhere around 6,000 or 7,000 just as he promised. But dollar na abafom no abu eno so aboa eno kra na ka ho bi na ma economy no abafom no. But we are thinking about sika kafuwe ni pansam, but the value attached to it, we are not looking at it. So for the ordinary farmer, no, he may be disappointed. That is understandable. Because if the farmer is disappointed, that's fine. At the farm level, they can do that analysis, exploit the disappointment. But where the supposed intellectuals who are supposed to know better, people who radically contributed to this downturn, this destruction, yeah, you will mean the same people will turn around and make it look like Obi acquired the money. That is why I'm trying to make it simple for you to understand. Say, the question, because of intellectual dishonesty on the part of these people. Because the fact of the matter is that John Mahama promised of making more cocoa farmers. He has never gone back, and he has done something in the history of this country. And I'll explain it to you. So where currently, na cocoa price regional about 7,000. Otia farmers $5,000 thereabout. And not translating into the last price now. Unya na osan tumud because price not translating. You cannot Cote d'Ivoire for the air was richer in Ghana. And then in order to avoid smuggling, because my catch is the previous years na we needed to supply the cocoa beans against the last year price. And a price was some page mukakra at the bit so Sabaya, Ghana news one cocoa from Cocoa d'Ivoire. And in Sayana, price no at the world stage, you know, a shifty, you know, cocoa no, and I'm saying more, ya better yentino. Na yentimi add value to your cocoa production, you know. Yentimin at your price, a man for a more ton movement because I didn't want to bubble sianda. And I would have cocoa. So how do you even go and tell them, say, when I was set a price? So price, you know, is determined by demand and supply across the world. So we don't determine the price. Government doesn't. And I in Ghana and I Cote d'Ivoire and determine price. Sorry, price, you know, from 7,000, I drop here, and I be do $4,000 per ton. Sikana yade talk cocoa no and the syndicated loan a yakwakwajia a yes secured a water guarantee ewo hon. A you be no credit sikan or the amount of cocoto. And this is swatia. The person will not look at you say for your first price the down on the top. But he's looking at the current market way because a profit no pay. And you know you have no other option than to look at the trending what price, you know, now I'm making adjustment and the most difficult political decision to make because it is either government will find money to shop up the difference. Now cocoa board cannot and I say you'll be very honest with farmers and tell them say Charlie, unfortunately say that here. Now we have no other option because price, you know, at the time I can't say able to 70% of the FOB price, you know, na cocoa, you know, it was sort and then I drop it to 4,000. And the most important thing, John Mahama, in the across all the discussion of being so, and I wonder how people do political analysis in this country. I say today, I had the current price in at the world market, you know. The government is paying 90% of FOB price in the history of this country. It been see that. I can't say 70. But I'm price now drop here into today. So I buy fa cocoa no cotton or world marketer. Sikano or tam ni na the milk for. That is what you see today. Price na swat impono. I buy the only amount of money left is 10%. And the time cocoa na ya cotton previously my catcher say na cocoa farmer no half a crown no nya. Because at the time I drew 12,000, 10,000, and $1 15 cedis, no. O calculate here. Na sika na farmer nya. Na it was somewhere around 35%. But today, the government is paying the cocoa farmer 90% of the FOB price, despite the fact that cocoa not tiaba form. Which in the history of this country, it been seen that say FOB price every to cocoa farmer 90%. So it sure say. In the middle of this difficulty, the government still appreciates the farmer for no it deserve more. And I think that the decision to reduce the price, you know, is the most difficult decision to make. Because if you look at it politically, it may be suicidal, but you weigh the options. Do you want to weigh politics against national interest? And that is what the president has done. Be honest, tell the farmers this is the situation. But you see, there is another important aspect of this whole conversation that people have not looked at. And for me, it's very sad. It's very, very, very sad. That aspect has to do with, these are the challenges, John Mahama said, I am going to solve this problem once and for all. And the all yes saying they say, cocoa now over the years, yakwaje syndicated loan, yakwaje bosia, or say no more. Free neko. We are coming to design a new financing model. And the betting young boy, amaya toy cocoa, ewo kroma, young conco bobosia. So, enunye, henceforth, cocoa no, or baba yane automatic, your friends price adjustment. And I yade baba just like your friend is saying, petrol, set a price in this gen, a costra, a swati, a bafoma, a swaba form, anti cocoa price, you know, ye be making sure, say, the price that will be determined at the world market, you know. That is what the cocoa farmer will receive. And it will be backed with the legislation. A bind be over beer henceforth biano ain't means to see we afford that. Because or the mra eba tato say, so cotton cocoa no man on it. Nasa winner $20,000. You cannot pay the farmer less than 70% of the FOB price. This is the most important aspect of the conversation that nobody has spoken about. And I'm saying you're interested in cheap, dirty politics, you know, you take that aspect because these are some of the tough decisions as Ankaya, yeah, dada. Sorry, I'm coming. Baby says it's a live show until you can walk in, walk out. So instead of Mexicano or the mra barber to hose, henceforth, a buying beer in who bit mutia cocoa farmer not less than 70% of the FOB price going forward. Enti say yatihana say cocoa price no cocoa through $100,000 per ton. The cocoa farmer will have to receive $70,000. You see, do you hear these things in the public conversation? And again, so apart from that legislation, you know, the government is also coming up with a financing model, which is the cocoa bond. The cocoa bond, and they say, government babe issue bond. Ghana for kind of banks na yede eba finance cocoa abeto cocoa kroma local banks na individuals sikana yede core banks no and a government is coming to mop them up in the form of a bond. I know the day you get your money and get profit. And the abayin sube you sa sikano from local haseya in cities onko $1 bosia na odia to cocoa na oba Wabetia sikano in cities the Ghana for na yeto mu cocoa no ena ono nso ne de ese o offer no ono nso afa na wasia make sure say the cocoa farmer will never in the history of this particular country receive less than 70% of the FOB price. So enya wona obe determine prices emema say and emema say even though you have that discretion, but within a limited space because you can't pay less than 70%. And we a cocoa farmer now what is same way ya. And I'm surprised na nkwe yama no or point to be angry. That's fair. But you should also know that the same government lay a solid foundation as I deal with senke ya yedada and ka cocoa farmers o kroma ebia kwanko bia brabo asesa. Because NPP for your money crasi or moody to akuafo and there's a more akuafo when. Besides, say cocoa no, a codru $10,000 no per ton no mucha cocoa farmer saying. At that time, cocoa cry young producing enough no, now you're the cow and the cocoa trees no were mortgaged because one to me and cocoa and we are not the basic. This is the dirty track record of these people. I'm a catcher so mono the only thing they are good at are dirty politics. What they are buying more no on better opposition. They will sabotage you and make sure that they lie to the people because they are experts when it comes to some of this nonsense. Because we need more sense of shame and go beyond to be nyakukudrokwa mabonti and the same way. Ebi. We all understand over the years the cocoa board has been mismanaged. The NDC is guilty, the NPP is guilty, but we are trying to be very proactive and profess alternative, and yet very feasible. And that is what people should pay much attention to. So don't listen to those lies, don't listen to those nonsense. Look at the measures because my culture said problem banner for. And John Mahama has demonstrated clearly say he has the magic wine to solve problems, need tough challenges. The old winner, and yes, I be incompetent and wakakofaba. It is because the price at the world market not drop it, which is a fact. So the decision they say, a buying kobo siana on absorb canaba finfin and so push it to the farmer. Now so China price no cost to farmer no. Yabaka say, yeah, the sassy can be no qua. A man for better say Okroma. I'm for Tiasia. So let us be very honest with ourselves and do politics. Say binyan sa wom. Adwin da ho na yenye se ye opposition ti se bia kwase politics bia na ye na nam kurase na no mete se ye se Michael abrantie ya miracle Aboagye o se hwan se Randiabe e de cocoa board sika renovate ne dan. I think Randiabe should act on this matter as quickly as possible if it is not true, because this thing was circulated. by bigger media houses, and as if they know that the story could probably never be true. Yet they circulated it on their platforms, far and wide. If he doesn't act on this particular thing, it will be presumed to be true. And I can't show some of these things will move to Gumi and maybe Baba. They'll flip them into the political arena again for political expediency. So when they say these things and you don't act, you are likely to glide. And going forward, Cocoa Board must also up its communication machinery. Because some of these things, you don't need a me and answer will be a metronometric. Cocoa Board no buy a kana abrogu hono as early as possible. You should have told the people. That is why some of us were proposing, say, you needed to do criminal inquiry, forensic audit into ECG is there, scholarship secretariat is there, and several other ways. Problem bar, they will quickly turn around and use it against you, because they are, when they come to crime, they have this expertise. They will go to the village and inside the farmers when they are the key architect of this whole thing that is happening today. Because in Cocoa Board, a solvent, Cocoa Board, and liquidated na solvent and sa price disparity now, bano. Government can say, oh, let it go. I will still buy it at the price. And now say, Cocoa Board, any stable financing model and our regime beer, not a price, no instability. Government so set business and mayor. Once I have a secured source of financing, you know, I can also wait and sell at the time and make profit. These are options government could have, but the thing has been messed up to the stand. Say, we are not here. You don't come and sit in it. Say, really? Ghana will be a property. So Cocoa Board need to up its communication machinery and make sure, say, the story is told. Tell people what actually, because what tenancy are no problem ni besine na ukoka obi an take you serious be people rather find comfort in the propaganda being spent on the sidelines more than the truth and what the actual state of the Cocoa Board has been. Oka obi an take you serious because Cocoa kwani no yate ni sika no so no eno an afa the team eno an odwe na ho eno an ye na ya, and it is legitimate. This is no time for you to be an NPP for an NPP. No, okay at this time will be and take you serious because I think let us be proactive. Sabaya, Ghana and I see a build, never build any year. But the president has a good heart. He has good intention. I believe in anything that he has said, because if you look at this 1 year, clearly you know John Mahama has got a magic wand to turn the fortunes of this country around. It is the job of this opposition to also make sure that it doesn't happen, because that is what they are good at. But some of us will continue to support Aboagye as long as the born idea to do and build this country for a better future. Thank you very much. Unsubscribe, subscribe. Distill the propaganda and let us go with the proper key issues a bit to Aboagye for national development. Thank you. My name is Ivan Che Innocent. When you subscribe to this channel and let's
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.